When we're young, we're like birds taking flight, eager to connect, to laugh loudly over dinner tables, to call someone a friend without hesitation. Friendships are plentiful, conversations are endless, and our hearts brim with hope. But over the years, something shifts. Long before our hair turns gray, our hearts begin to change. Disappointments, betrayals, and life's hard lessons teach us to pull back. The once lively gatherings slowly give way to quiet afternoons with a cup of tea, a blooming plant, or the breeze through an open window. We no longer need crowds to feel fulfilled. We seek peace, not popularity. Moving from sociability to solitude isn't loneliness. It's a return to ourselves. It's the freedom to choose stillness over noise. Alone doesn't mean empty. It can mean full of clarity, calm, and contentment. In that space, we rediscover who we truly are. There was a time when we believed in friendships built from the heart. Meeting someone felt sincere, and conversations were genuine. A simple meal shared, a reassuring touch on the shoulder. Those small moments carry deep meaning and warmth. But as the years passed, people changed. So did the world around us. Sincere connections became rare. A kind question might just be politeness. An invitation might be obligation. In a society wrapped in appearances, those who remain genuine often feel out of place. Older adults, after a lifetime of experiences, begin to see things clearly. Not every smile is honest. Not every friend is truly a friend. So instead of clinging to shallow relationships just to avoid being alone, many quietly step back, not with bitterness, but with understanding. They'd rather spend time with a few who truly care than be surrounded by pretenders. That's not coldness. It's wisdom earned over time. Choosing peace over pretense is not giving up. It's waking up. And in that awakening, many discover that fewer, but deeper, connections are all they really need. In our younger years, inviting friends over was second nature. Warm kitchens, shared meals, and laughter filled the air. Friendship was built around home-cooked dinners and long, easy conversations. But as we grow older, that energy fades. The joy of hosting turns into a quiet preference for simplicity. Today, many older adults choose to meet friends at a local cafe, a shaded park bench, or a nearby diner. These neutral spaces feel lighter. No pressure, no need to tidy up, no concern about disrupting the family. More importantly, they've learned that behind polite invitations often lies quiet hesitation. They don't want to impose or feel imposed upon. At a certain age, comfort matters more than appearances. A simple meeting in a relaxed setting can hold more meaning than a fancy get-together. Real connection doesn't need a dining room. It just needs two open hearts and a peaceful place to meet. When we're young, dropping by someone's house feels easy and natural. But as we get older, that casual comfort starts to fade, not out of coldness, but from a deeper understanding of life. First, visiting someone's home can sometimes be a burden. You may be invited, but their family members might not feel entirely comfortable. The atmosphere becomes less relaxed, and older adults are sensitive to that. They don't want to intrude. Second, words can be easily misunderstood. A passing comment during a friendly chat can be taken the wrong way, repeated out of context, and lead to hurt feelings. As we age, we become less willing to deal with those small but lingering emotional wounds. Third, differences in lifestyle can create quiet discomfort. One person might live modestly, while the other has more. Even without intention, comparisons arise, and closeness can turn into pressure. That's why many seniors choose to stay in their own homes, the safest, most comfortable place. If they do meet up, they prefer neutral spaces like coffee shops or parks, places where kindness can be shared freely without the weight of expectations. Because real connection thrives best where no one feels burdened. In our later years, we no longer crave the hustle and bustle of social life. We don't need a crowd of friends or feel the urge to say yes to every invitation. Instead, we settle into a slower rhythm. Mornings begin with tea and tending to the garden. Evenings might include a short walk, followed by an early night. Life becomes simple, but not empty. Some may think this kind of contentment means giving up. It's not. Those with life experience know that the fewer attachments we have, the lighter our hearts feel. It's not about being aloof. It's about being tired of pretending, tired of forced smiles and surface-level connections. At a certain point, all we truly want is to be surrounded by a few trusted people. Close family, old friends, or sometimes just ourselves. No drama, no jealousy, no obligations. It's not that we've closed our hearts. We've simply learned to protect them. We've chosen carefully what's worth holding on to. And in this so-called simple life, there's peace. A steady, undisturbed kind of happiness that allows us to breathe, reflect, and live each day with quiet gratitude. A slower life isn't a lesser one. It's often the most meaningful chapter of all. When we're young, we fear loneliness the way we fear the dark. We constantly seek someone to talk to, someone whose presence reminds us that we matter. But as we grow older, we begin to understand real peace comes from within, not from the noise of a crowded room. In our later years, living alone no longer feels scary. It becomes a quiet kind of freedom. No one to please, no pressure to entertain. We learn to listen to ourselves, to care for our own well-being, and to enjoy life in its simplest forms. A hot cup of tea, a warm book, a few potted plants, and a peaceful afternoon. Being alone doesn't mean we're unloved. It means we've learned who's worth keeping close. It's not that we have no friends, but that we no longer need many to feel whole. With age comes a wisdom to know. The most lasting happiness comes from being at peace with ourselves. We stop fearing solitude because somewhere in the quiet, we finally find who we are. In our later years, meeting up with friends remains a special joy. But instead of visiting each other's homes, which can unintentionally create stress, many older adults prefer to connect in cafes, local diners, or at a quiet park. These public spaces come with no expectations, no need to cook, clean, or worry about disrupting family routines. Everyone understands that a home is more than just a place to live. It's a personal sanctuary. No matter how close the friendship is, having guests over can sometimes feel like a burden to other family members. Older adults with years of life experience know that real friendship isn't about where you meet. It's about how it feels when you do. Meeting outside keeps things light and easy. There's no pressure to host, no formalities, just genuine connection. Conversations flow more freely. Laughter feels more relaxed, and everyone leaves with a warm heart. Choosing simple, stress-free ways to stay connected isn't just practical. It's a sign of emotional maturity. It's how seasoned friendships stay strong, rooted not in obligation, but in mutual respect and understanding. Youth is for exploring, taking risks, making connections, and chasing what's new. But growing older brings a different rhythm, one that invites us to slow down, turn inward, and live more truthfully with ourselves. Throughout life, we often learn how to please others, how to fit in, be agreeable, say the right things. But at some point, when the hair begins to gray and the steps grow slower, we begin to crave something else. Peace. We no longer feel the need to impress, compete, or surround ourselves with noise. Loneliness isn't the enemy. Pretending to be someone we're not is far more exhausting. One of the greatest lessons of aging is learning what's worth holding on to and what's better left behind. A quiet meal with your grandkids, a peaceful morning with a cup of tea, a simple phone call with an old friend. Sometimes, those small things make for a full life. If you still have family who love you and a heart that knows peace, you're already richer than most. Today's message is a gentle reminder. Living simply doesn't mean living less. It means knowing what truly matters and cherishing each moment that does. If this story resonates with you, consider following, leaving a comment, or sharing it with someone close to your heart. Let's continue walking this path of peace, clarity, and sincerity together, one day at a time. Because as long as your heart stays true, you are never really alone. Youth is for exploring, taking risks, making connections, and chasing what's new. But growing older brings a different rhythm, one that invites us to slow down, turn inward, and live more truthfully with ourselves. Throughout life, we often learn how to please others, how to fit in, be agreeable, say the right things. But at some point, when the hair begins to gray and the steps grow slower, we begin to crave something else. Peace. We no longer feel the need to impress, compete, or surround ourselves with noise. Loneliness isn't the enemy. Pretending to be someone we're not is far more exhausting. One of the greatest lessons of aging is learning what's worth holding on to and what's better left behind. A quiet meal with your grandkids, a peaceful morning with a cup of tea, a simple phone call with an old friend. Sometimes those small things make for a full life. If you still have family who love you and a heart that knows peace, you're already richer than most. Today's message is a gentle reminder. Living simply doesn't mean living less. It means knowing what truly matters and cherishing each moment that does. If this story resonates with you, consider following, leaving a comment, or sharing it with someone close to your heart. Let's continue walking this path of peace, clarity, and sincerity together, one day at a time. Because as long as your heart stays true, you are never really alone.